Assalamu alaikum, my new brothers and sisters in Islam. Inshallah, in this video we'll be covering the core beliefs and the most important practices that you need to be aware of as soon as you have accepted Islam. So indeed, your beliefs is the very thing that has led you to Islam and made you enter Islam. And indeed, your beliefs are the things that inshallah, by the grace of Allah, if Allah wills, you will enter paradise. And we make dua, we ask Allah that He gives all of us paradise, inshallah. But as a new Muslim, the thing that you need to understand is that there are some things which have become compulsory on you. And depending on what time of year it is at the moment, there is definitely one thing that has become compulsory on you. And there may be a second thing which has become compulsory on you immediately. The first thing which has become compulsory on you immediately, no matter what time of year it is, and that is the prayer. The prayer which is known in Arabic as Salah. It is known as Salah. We'll put the spelling up on the video now on the screen, which is S-A-L-A-H or S-A-L-A-T, depending on if you're typing it in Google and you want to learn something about the prayer. So Salah has become, or the prayer has become compulsory on you as soon as you have accepted Islam. Now, with prayer, there is something that you need to do before the prayer, and that is you need to be completely clean. The first thing that you need to ensure is that you have the state of cleanliness. Now, before we talk about the state of cleanliness, is that all men, if the prayer becomes obligatory on you immediately. It doesn't matter where you are, what time it is, how old you are, unless you're under the age of maturity, which is generally 15 years old or below, or if you haven't hit puberty at that point, but that's for another video. But if you're above 15 years old, then prayer has become obligatory on you as a man. As a woman, there's an additional consideration, is that prayer is obligatory on you. However, if you are currently in your menstruation cycle, or in postnatal bleeding, meaning you just, you've given birth and you're still at that postnatal bleeding stage, then you are currently exempt from prayer. So the prayer, you don't have to pray it while you are bleeding, whether it's menstruation or whether that's through the time of postnatal bleeding. There's a separate discussion about if you're bleeding due to some illness, and that's something that we're not going to cover today. But generally, your normal menstruation cycle, your normal postnatal bleeding, you're exempt. But otherwise, for all other women, meaning if you're not bleeding at the moment, then the prayer has also become obligatory on you immediately. Now, we understand that as a new Muslim, you may or may not know how to pray already. And if you don't worry. The first thing that you need to understand is that there are certain times of prayer. And that means, for example, if you became Muslim in the morning after sunrise, then there's 5 prayers in Islam, but the 4 remaining prayers will become obligatory on you. If you became a Muslim at night, then the final, say after sunset, then the final prayer of the day would become obligatory on you. And then of course, the 5 prayers of the days to come tomorrow will become obligatory on you as well. Now, before you start praying, you must be in the state of cleanliness. And the state of cleanliness comes in 2 forms. Number 1 is the major cleanliness. So generally speaking, if you've had sexual intercourse, or if you've ejaculated, or if you've finished your menstruation, then you need to have a complete shower. You need to completely bathe your body with water, including washing your hair. If you've got a beard, below the beard, in the skin, all of your crevices like between your fingers, everything needs to have water passed over it. And you should gargle your mouth as well and put water in your nose. That's what we consider the major bath. The major bath. So if you are in that state, generally speaking, if you accept Shahada, the advice is that you should have that bath just in case. So if you haven't had that bath, definitely, go into the shower after this video and have that major bath. So wash your whole body, gargle your mouth and your nose. The second thing is wudu, which is a little bit longer. Now, if you've had the major bath and you're in the state of purity, then you don't need to do wudu, because the wudu is done already. The wudu is a special name of the washing. It's a special religious name which you can't really translate into English. We would say the spiritual washing, just to make it easy for you as new Muslims to understand. But learn this word is wudu. Again, we'll put it up on the screen now. So we'll do that in the other video. Maybe you can just Google, okay, how to do wudu in Islam. We will do a video on that where we'll practically show you how to do wudu. But once you have attained cleanliness, thereafter you need to pray. So the second thing is that the prayer times are there. And what you can do is you can just Google Salah times, SALAH times, and your locality, whichever, your local town or your local city is, then you'll have the prayer times that come up for that. And you can just see, okay, right now, for example, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, then what other prayers are during that time. And that means that including the prayer right now as well. 2 o'clock in the afternoon normally would mean that you have to pray the Dhuhr, which is the second prayer of the day, and then all subsequent prayers after that. But if you just, like I said, Google Salah times, SALAH times, and your locality, it will come up with the times. Then you can plan accordingly for the rest of the day. So that's any time of the year that you've become Muslim, the prayers have become compulsory on you. And we'll do the next videos or upcoming videos. We'll show you how to pray practically, and inshallah we'll teach you how to pray through the videos. But if you just do a quick Google search on how to pray, then maybe you'll be able to understand what you need to do. And we understand you've just become Muslim, so maybe you don't know how to pray 9 times out of 10. You won't know how to pray at this point, but you will just do the actions of prayer. You will say Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, and then you will do the actions of the prayer at the very least, and inshallah Allah will accept that from you as your prayers. Right, the second consideration is that if you have become Muslim during Ramadan or Ramadan, as you may understand from before accepting Islam, it's the 1 month of the year in which Muslims fast throughout that year. And that is also compulsory on everyone, with exception to people who are sick, something like type 1 diabetes or very severe type 2 diabetes, or something that if you don't eat or drink for the time of the fast, that you will become sick. And as long as that doesn't happen to you, or if you're not in your menstruation period or postnatal bleeding or heavily pregnant, then the fasting also becomes obligatory on you. Now, for any women who are watching this video, if you're heavily pregnant, then there are some considerations where you fast or you don't fast. So for example, I think last year or maybe the year before, my sister was pregnant, and what she was doing, and she was like heavily pregnant. I think she was like 8 months during Ramadan or Ramadan, whatever is easier for you to understand. And she was fasting one day, missing one day, fasting one day. I think there was a couple of days where she felt quite sick or very low. So of course the baby's eating from you, right? Which is a blessing in itself. And she had to eat, so she didn't fast those days. They'll be made up, but we'll have a whole series on fasting, so don't worry about that for now. If you are a man or a woman who's not during that situation, fasting has become obligatory on you. So what happens if you have become Muslim during the day when it's in the middle of the fast? What you will do is that you will stop eating, you will stop drinking, and you will stop any sexual intercourse. You're not allowed to have sexual intercourse during fasting as well. So you'll stop all of that, and then at sunset, you will break your fast, and then from the next morning, you will fast your normal fast. If, for example, again, you can Google suhoor times. We'll put it up with the spelling on the screen, SUHOOR, suhoor times, and your locality. And that is the beginning time of the fast, or in fact, the ending time of the suhoor is the beginning of the fast. If the timetable that you get up on Google doesn't have any times for suhoor, then, or sehri even, SEHRI, then it will have the time for fajr, which is the first prayer of the day. Your suhoor must be finished before the time of fajr starts. So let's say at least 1 minute before the fajr starts. So let's say, for example, on your calendar, it says that fajr starts at 5 o'clock. That means by 4:58, 4:59, you need to stop eating and drinking, and your fast will begin. But again, we'll do that in different videos about fasting in general. So as you have just become Muslim, these two practices are very important. They're they're compulsory on every single person, whether they're old, whether they're young, whether they are, the prayer is, whether even you're sick, you still need to pray. There's very few instances in which you can't pray, but fasting, there's other considerations, and you can, if you're, for example, very old, or you're very sick, then just Google, do I need to fast? And you'll find some answers. Inshallah, we will cover those in quite detail. So now that we have these two practices covered, very briefly, of course, then let's go on to the beliefs. I'm having to cut out the videos like in the middle is because my wife cooked and she refilled all the spices in the house and everything, the spices are up in the air. It's really making me cough. So apologies if you say, why is there so many cuts in the middle? Anyway, coming back to it, your beliefs. Of course, you have now believed in one true God without any partners, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah. We add on these words subhanahu wa ta'ala to praise him, but don't worry, you can just refer to God as Allah, or you can refer to God as, of course, God as well. You can call God in any name which is not associated with any other false God. So you can say God because it's the general word. Or if you speak another language, whatever the translation is of the word God. But the most beautiful name of God in Arabic, and the original name, which has no multiplicity in it, is Allah. So learn that. We'll put the spelling up, A-L-L-A-H. The other belief that you need to believe in is, of course, the messengers. All of the messengers. This is quite important because if you come from a Judeo-Christian background, then there are some things, of course, we believe in all of the biblical messengers. We believe in Adam, we believe in Noah, we believe in Abraham, we believe in Ishmael, we believe in Isaac. We believe in all of the biblical prophets. However, I know that in some biblical traditions, there are some things about the prophets which are not correct. Where, for example, they say that Noah became drunk at a time. Or that Lot, for example, something happened in the relations between his family. We as Muslims completely cleanse all of the messengers from all of these false claims. The messengers were pure from God, from Allah. And every single messenger that was sent is free from sin. This is our fundamental belief which separates us from the Jews and the Christians, that all of the messengers are free from sin. They were unable to, or Allah purified them, God purified them from doing anything which is considered as immoral. Now, of course, we don't say that they are not humans and that they are angels. They are able to make mistakes, but these mistakes are more human errors. Or even if they made a mistake in religion, then Allah, through revelation, God through revelation, He corrected them through revelation, and then they repented to Him, and for that Allah forgave them, and they continued in their purity. They were always pure. Maybe that thing that they did was a lesson for us, and we have these in the Quran, where sometimes the Prophet ﷺ did a very small thing, but Allah corrected him because it wasn't correct for the Prophet to do those things. So we have these in the Quran as well, in the Holy Book. The Quran is the Holy Book, of course. So that's something that purify your belief of the messengers. Now, if you come from another background other than the Judeo-Christian background, if you come from an atheistic background, then of course we believe in messengers, we believe in the biblical messengers and the final Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is something that we say after the name of Muhammad, that we are instructed to say that, to send peace and blessings to him, as is his right. And all of the prophets, we say alayhimus salam, may peace be upon them. So purify your belief, and we do believe in the messengers. The third thing that you must believe in is the angels. So you believe in all of the angels, and there's no difference. All of the angels are pure. They're unable to sin. They're a pure creation, and they are from God. They are a real creation. Of course, if you come from an atheistic background, then we can't see them. We can't touch them. We can't feel them. We can't, nothing like this. But we believe in them. It's something that God has taught us in the Bibles, Old Testament, New Testament, and in the Quran, the final testament, and we believe in them without any doubt. They are from the unseen matters. The other four, we've belief in God, belief in the messengers, belief in angels. We believe in the books. And what do we mean by books? We as Muslims can only believe in the books that we have been told of. And we do understand that the Quran and the Injil, which is the gospel of Jesus, we believe as Muslims that the gospel of Jesus is not with us. There may be elements of the gospel of Jesus in the other gospels. However, the gospel of Jesus as an entire book is no longer with us. But we do believe that Allah gave Jesus the gospel as his revelation, and we believe that that is true. We believe in the Torah, the Old Testament, but the difference is that we know that, and we believe in the Psalms of David. We believe in these, but we believe that they have been changed over time, and the Quran remains unchanged. But we do believe that Allah revealed these books. And we also believe that some other scriptures were given to Abraham and other prophets. Whether we have elements of them today in other biblical stories and scriptures, we say only God knows. But we believe that Allah revealed these scriptures and He revealed these books, and we must believe that they were true. And finally, the Quran remains true to this day and until the Day of Judgment. Moving on to the fifth belief is the Day of Judgment. Actually, not specifically the Day of Judgment by itself, but life after death. And we say Day of Judgment because it's the most important event after someone passes away. After everything has been destroyed and brought back to life by God, then the Day of Judgment is going to be the Day of Judgment, of course. But we believe that there is life after death. And that's something that we must believe in as Muslims, that we believe in Allah, the one true God. We believe in all of the messengers purified. We believe in the angels purified. We don't believe that they're females or anything, they're genderless. So the angels, we also believe in the books, and we believe in the last day. Yes, we believe in the last day, the life after death. Another belief that we have is that we believe in fate. So we believe in predestination, and predestination is not a topic that we're going to talk about in great detail in this series. We'll probably talk about it actually in the advanced series. But know that we do believe in fate, that God has all fate written down from before even the creation, because He's the Almighty and He knows everything that's going to happen. So we have these basic beliefs. Let's repeat them again. We believe in one true God. We believe in the angels. We believe in the messengers. We believe in the books. We believe in life after death, and especially the Day of Judgment. All life after death. And we believe in fate. So as a new Muslim, these are the most important things that you must believe in. And of course, in the subsequent videos, we will go over what the beliefs are in a little bit more detail. But one thing also, we understand as a new Muslim, you are very eager to learn about your new religion. And of course, we welcome that. But generally speaking, the understanding is that you do not need to have a great depth understanding of these beliefs. Of course, the more you know God, the better you can love Him. And the more He will love you, of course. The more you know about the messengers, the more you can learn the lessons from their lives and adopt the practices. The more you know about the books. So I don't know much about the biblical traditions. One of the best channels that I know of biblical tradition from a Muslim, and he used to be a Christian, and he really researched this. I think he's got a fantastic academic based channel. It's called Blogging Theology. So especially if you come from a Judeo-Christian background, definitely check out Blogging Theology. And it's our brother Paul who runs that channel. I think it's fantastic. But I don't know too much about the books, but we believe in the books. And of course, the more you learn about the Quran, the more you will learn about the religion of Islam. And of course, the more you learn about the Day of Judgment and life after death, the more you can adopt asceticism in your life. Now, just a quick thing, you don't completely detach yourself from the world. Muslims believe you need to be part of society and contribute to society. So it's important that you can't become an ascetic and lock yourself in a mountain. We don't do that as Muslims. Although there are, some groups that say that you should do that, maybe for short periods of time, very short periods of time, but you need to be part of society. And we believe in the fate, that everything. And, indeed, belief in fate is the one thing that can save you from depression. New Muslims, the belief in fate is so important, because whatever you're going through, let this be some consolence to you and some comfort, inshallah, that, of course, there's unique challenges that you're going through maybe right now. Although it's very, wonderful and beautiful for you as well, at the same time, there's some unique challenges that you're going through, because, of course, only you know your situation with your family, maybe with your friends, with your workplace, with your college, if you're a student, your school, if you're a student. You know those challenges. Maybe you're going through them alone. Remember, God never burdens a soul for more than which it can bear. If you're going through these challenges, it's because God knows that you can come out the other side. And as Muslims, see, one of the very beautiful hadiths is that the wonderful is the position of a believer, or the condition of a believer, that when a calamity befalls him, he has patience, and for that he is rewarded. And when a blessing is given to him, then he has gratitude, and he is rewarded as well. So take this as a lesson, that whatever you're going through, just persevere. It's written that you're going to go through this, and inshallah you will come out the other side. Also, as new Muslims, you need to understand that although you may have a great urge to learn as much as you can and practice as much as you can in one go, the best thing to do is to do things in moderation. And indeed, this is a teaching from the Quran, the holy book of Muslims, is that we are ummatan wasata. We are a middle nation, a nation that takes the middle ground. We are not very strict in the way that we do things, except for in the prayer, of course. But we are not very light as well. We have tolerance. We have our tolerance level, which means that we have our principles and we stand by that. So we're not so strict that we can only be very rigid in our principles. There are some core principles like the belief in Allah and so on. But in our practices, we can be, in the middle ground. But we're not too light that we completely let go of the practices. So if you're currently struggling with regards to the beard or maybe the hijab, remember, I'm wearing, you can't see it, but I'm wearing the long thobe, the one that goes from like a dress all the way to the ankles. You don't have to wear that as a man, okay? You don't have to wear that. So you can just be completely covered. Now, as a woman, you do need to be covered. But if, for example, currently you are struggling with the hijab, we urge you to wear the hijab as quickly as possible, and immediately, in fact. But if you're struggling with that, please connect with some sisters. Connect with some Muslim sisters and talk to them. We encourage you to wear the hijab, but don't think yourself of anything less. If you're struggling to wear the hijab, and it's really something which you have to fight for, your belief and your prayers. This is the thing that you must do. And of course, when you're praying, you must be covered. So please wear the hijab when you're praying. This is the most important thing that you must do as a Muslim, whether man or woman. Hopefully that's some consolence. And of course, this guide is also a comfort for you. Please put in the comments, what do you want to learn about? In the beginner's guide, we will be going over the main fundamentals that you need to know as a new Muslim. But we will definitely write all of them down, and we will put them in the other videos that we release, inshallah, for you converts and for you new reverts, inshallah. And again, with the greeting, Assalamu alaikum, Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon you.